Alright, what's up friends? Today we are here on the Meepo V5 standard edition, I believe, and taking it for our first ride. This board has been sitting on my shelf for a little while, so I finally got around to testing it and I'm going to see how it does. Today is my first time riding a hub electric skateboard in a very long time. And at the same time, I believe this is also the cheapest electric skateboard that I have ridden in a long time. So that's an interesting combination that we got going for us here. The Meepo V5 is currently coming in at, oh my god, this road is bad. The Meepo V5 is currently coming in at $469 on the Meepo website. And that gets you the standard range version. And I believe that's what we have here today. I can't remember what the Meepo rep said in the email, if this was the ER or the standard, but I believe is the standard. And just taking a quick look at it here, you can see we got that classic handle look from the original Meepo boards. A lot of people will know the Meepo V5 style as probably one of the first skateboards that they ever rode, or one of the first skateboards that they saw, because back in the day, Meepo Campus Cruiser and the V1 and the V2 were quite popular, so might be a familiar look to some people. But now we come back with a new version several years later with upgraded speed controller, newer motors, new deck design, and I believe new trucks as well. So we're going to talk about each of those different components, starting with the speed controller. In here we have the LY-FOC 1.0, and I believe that's the lower powered edition of the LY-FOC series. I think that the Voyager has a different one in it because obviously it's a much higher power board at a much higher cost. And so we got that in here. It does have some nice features like hill holding and 4-speed modes. The top one topping out at 28 miles per hour. And connected to that speed controller are the two hub motors, which come in at 500 watts each. You can see that hill hold working right there, holding me in place. Back here we've got the two 500 watt hub motors attached to the 45-degree shredder trucks, which are also Meepo branded. Now, I've only gone a couple streets, and we've gone on some of the worst streets in my area, and I've noticed one thing immediately, is that the rear truck likes to wobble a lot when going over bumps. So what we're going to do is tighten up the trucks a little bit, because I do not want to fall off on my first ride. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we're tightening up the trucks a little bit on the back here. This board side and road side, actually all four bushings on this board are 92A barrels, and the road side back here has a cupped washer on it. So that does help with stability a little bit, but considering I was already feeling some instability, I thought it would be a good idea to change it, and just keep that in our pocket for now. But one thing we have to consider when we start looking at a board like this is who the market is and what the expectations are for a rider that might be buying this. And the riders that are buying this are not me, let's be honest. I've been on a race board. I've been riding skateboards for 6 years now, electric skateboards for 6 years now. And I would consider myself in the upper area of experience. This board is for a first rider, to be honest. It's a beginner board with beginner power and at a beginner price. It'll get you in the door, get you addicted to the sport, and then you'll move on to bigger and better things. Possibly starting with the Meepo Voyager, which is the big brother to this board that has belt drive and a lot more power. Now, it does claim that this board can go up to 28 miles an hour. To be honest, I don't think I want to take this board to 28 miles an hour because that sounds really sketchy. So we probably will not be doing that. during the time that I have this board. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to know that it's available. I don't know if I would want to go up to that speed with these bushings because they already don't feel super stable. But again, we're setting expectations here. New riders don't really know how to deal with hard bushings. And having something soft on here will let them get their feet settled and figure out how to turn an electric skateboard, how to carve. And again, this is one of those boards that gets you hooked. It doesn't support the long term. So let's continue talking about the board. Like I mentioned, we have those 45-degree shredder trucks, and man, we're going a little fast here. We got those 45-degree shredded trucks with those 92A bushings, and the deck, I believe, is a composite deck. It has some wood in it for sure. I'll have to look at the website again, but it feels pretty nice. It has a little bit of flex to it. I'm not sure how I'd call it a flexi deck, but it has a little bit of give to it. And you do have to wonder when you have a handle in the deck like this if that is a weak point. And I can tell you it definitely is a weak point. Whether or not you need to be concerned about it, I'm not really sure, but it is a fairly large cutout in a deck that is fairly skinny. And this deck is not super wide. It looks like it comes in at around 8.5 to 9 inches. I'll measure it for the full review, but it's decently comfortable. I actually just rode the Flex Pro today, and I will say that I prefer the Flex Pro deck a lot to this one. And I've stood on the Meepo Voyager before as well, and I definitely prefer that deck to this one as well. So really, I'm just upselling you to get to the more expensive boards. But when you buy a more expensive board, typically you have a better experience. So keeping the budget aspect in mind here, this is not too bad of a ride. The hub motors provide an adequate amount of power. We're currently riding in speed mode 3 because speed mode 1 only went up to like 5 miles an hour, and that's not safe for me to be riding 5 miles an hour in the bike lanes here. So I'm currently riding in speed mode 3. Not sure what this speed mode tops out at. My guess is about 20 miles an hour. This remote is just a basic remote. There's no screen on it. It's got the thumb wheel, it's got a board battery meter, and it's got the speed modes button, and that's about it. So I don't know how fast I'm going, but I can tell by feel that it's around 20 miles an hour. So it's about what I would expect from a speed mode 3. That speed mode 4 should be able to reach that top speed of 28 miles an hour. But like I said, I'm not intending to go all the way up to that top speed, especially not today. So to be honest, I actually expected the ride feel to be way worse because I'm kind of one of those people that hates on hub motors because they're generally uncomfortable to ride, and I expected it to be worse. It's not great, but it's also not terrible. So take that how you will. I always ride large urethane or pneumatics, but here we got those what do you call it, hub motors with their thin hub sleeves on them. And right now we're actually going really slow. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's pull over and stop. Maybe I switch speed modes. No, it looks like we're having some battery sag. So right now on the remote it says 3 bars of battery when we're standing still here. And let's see what it says when I start accelerating again. Keep in mind this is a pretty tiny battery, 18650 cells. I believe that it's either 10S2P or 12S2P. I'm not sure, but the 18650 cells are definitely going to be less powerful than an equivalent size of 21700, just based on the amount of average power that I've seen 21700s versus 18650s put out. And yeah, we're sagging down an entire bar of battery life by riding right now. So we're sagging down to 2 bars, and I'm not sure how far we've gone. I can't imagine it's more than like 3 miles. So let me switch into speed mode 4 to see if I can overcome that a little bit. That seems to have helped a little bit. I'm going about 20 again now. So, as you can see, budget board experience is going to come with its quirks. Ugh. And I'm not really too upset about it because $469 is not a terrible price to pay for an electric skateboard. And I will say that this board is probably going to be more safe and reliable than the no-name brand ones that you might find on Amazon, because it's backed by Meepo, which is, for the most part, a dependable company. You have customer support and stuff that you are able to use. Whether or not they will be super responsive is hard to say because they are a foreign company, and often foreign e-skate tech support is, well, not always the most reliable, I'll say that. And man, yeah, these bushings are definitely not my favorite. Getting wobbles on wobbles going 20 from onset road conditions. Probably, unlike the X-Way boards, which have really great bushings out of the box. Sorry to make that comparison, but you know, everyone's going to make that comparison anyway. They have really great bushings out of the box, and this has not quite been the same experience. I think these bushings would do well to be switched out to some riptide ones to give you a bit of a better ride feel overall. Oh man, I don't know if you can see that wobble on the camera or not. I'm currently at max throttle. We're going up about a 5% grade hill right now, and I think we're going about 12 miles an hour maybe. So, oh man, we sagged down to 1 bar of battery. Man, it's only 4 miles to get to my destination, and this thing is really pushing it. I'm concerned that I'm not going to make it. Woo! Hey man, I mean, Meepo knew what they were doing when they sent me this board. I'm an honest reviewer. I'm going to say it how it is. And right now, I'm concerned that I might not make it up this hill. We're at max throttle right now, going about 10 miles an hour. Well, I mean, I'll definitely get there, but I'm not going to get there in a hurry. Again, I'm not trying to write off this board at all here, but keep in mind your expectations when you get a board like this. I will say again, I'm probably repeating myself a lot in this video, but it is what it is. The ride feel is better than I expected. Like, the trucks aside, the deck and the hub motors are not too bad. I think, oh, there we go. Hill was really restricting us there. The deck and trucks, sorry, the trucks, oh my god. The hub motors and the deck are pretty decent. The trucks, maybe not so much. Obviously, it's not really an easy task to switch trucks out across boards, but I don't know. Maybe it's something that you could consider doing if you're DIY minded. Whew. We've gotten back up to a little bit of speed. I think we're probably still sagging down a little bit. And that's something that you'll find pretty often with 18650 packs. Kind of something of the last generation of electric skateboard is that they do tend to sag a good bit. And this does depend on the cells, which I'm not sure which the cells are in here. If I had to guess, I imagine that they're either a Chinese cell or that they're Samsung 30Qs or 25Rs or something like that. But they are definitely not as powerful as the cells in the 21-700 range, like the 40T, the Molly Cell P42A, or even the Lishan 2170 LA. Those cells are pretty good as well. Not quite as good as 40Ts, but they do the job. So we're currently sitting at 2 bars of battery on the board, and let's see what my current trip is. We're looking at currently 4.1 miles, and we're sagging pretty hard. So there is absolutely zero chance that this board is making it to 11 miles on any kind of road that has hills. We've not done very much elevation gain, probably about, I want to say 200 feet or something like that. And my rider weight is currently about 175 plus my backpack, which is probably another 5-7 pounds. So we're looking at like 180. And we didn't have much downhill in this ride, just a little bit. So my estimate for the range right now, since we're sagging down to just 1 bar, is that you probably get like 8 miles on this board, maybe less. 8 fairly slow miles. Obviously, we're not reaching top speed anymore. We're at fully maxed out going up this hill, and I think we're going about 17 right now, maybe 15 miles an hour. We're almost my destination, so our video is going to be ending here pretty shortly, but let's try to wrap up the experience here. Hub motors, better than I thought. Deck, better than I thought. Trucks did not meet expectations, but they're not horrible, but I wouldn't want to ride them for very long. Power, about what I expected. It is a hub motor board, and it is a budget board, so you know you have to set your expectations. The hill hold, the fact that it does not work at low. Oh, there we go. The hill hold is cool. It's something that a lot of other boards don't have, and keeping yourself from rolling down slight inclines is very convenient. So those are all good things. No app with this board, of course. Budget board, and I actually should fact check that. I'm not sure if you can connect to the Meepo app with this. But yeah, not too bad for a budget board. We're gonna keep riding it a little bit more, see if I can switch out the bushings for something a little bit more stable, and I'll get back to you guys. So if you like this video, give it a like, stay safe, keep on riding, and peace out.